What's up guys, welcome to a brand new video. So today we are looking at the top 10 champs in the tech class, carrying on from yesterday's video of the science. So starting off, as with every video, these are all my opinions. If you don't agree or if you think people should be moved, let me know in the comments down below and we can engage in a discussion about that. That would be, I imagine, a lot of fun. So yeah, starting off at number 10, we've got Guillotine 2099. So it was quite tricky picking a number 10 in my opinion. There was a lot of champs in sort of around that tier. Not really sure who was going to go in around the Guillotine 2099, Penny, Shuri, Sentinel, Rocket, you know, champs like that. I went with Guillotine 2099 because obviously she's got the double immunity, being having the robotics. She's got that quite sort of useful pre-fight, but mainly it was the just pain when you fight her. She is just a real pain to fight with the constant sort of invisibility, meaning you miss quite a lot of the time. Personally, I find her really annoying because I'm not really sure when that invisibility rocks up, so sometimes I'll miss and I'll get hit straight away. She has that constant power drain on her SP1, which is really annoying. Her best counters are usually people like Gallon is really good, but before him there wasn't many cosmic champs who were immune to power drain. So I thought she was a really good champ. She's good on defense. She's quite good in attack with that power drain, keeping them quite low. A good power control champ. A few synergies, but nothing major. But yeah, the double immunity, the self repair can be absolutely huge if you upgrade that enough. And I think, yeah, she's a pretty good champ, but not really much else to say about her. So let me know what you think of that. That's our number 10. Coming in at the number 9 spot is somebody who is a bit more well known by everybody, Penny Parker. So if this was a defenders list, she'd be top 3, you know, top 3, top 5 in the whole game. I just feel as an attacker, she's not bad. She's got that heal block, which is really useful. Obviously, when you block or auto block, that power burn gets hit. She can power lock her opponents. On defense, she's an absolute weapon, just so good. However, on offense, not as good as maybe these champs above. She could have gone up a place. She could have swapped for the next champ on the list, but I still feel like she's a really good champ. As I said, probably top 3 defenders. Some nice little synergies that she has. Can shred, although yeah, taking in her offensive a bit, her offensive skill and her defensive skill. Like someone like Thing, a really good defender. However, he didn't make the science list because his offense is okay but not fantastic, whereas she is much stronger defender than he is, but is also quite useful on attack. I feel like maybe she's a little bit underrated on attack, but still a really useful champ. And only recently is our cosmic champs, or just champs in general, being brought into the game to be immune to just her. That's how good a defender she is. That's how good, you know, the devs are starting to have to create champions just to counter her, like a Gallon. So yeah, really good champ. She comes in at number 9. At number 8, this one was a bit more, I was unsure between 8 and 7. I feel like both of them could be swapped, or maybe number 8 might not even be on this list, but I've gone for Infamous Iron Doom, or Infamous Iron Man. I think he's a really good champ. I think he has a lot of ability. He has that shock immunity and incinerate. That's massive, can be really helpful. He obviously has the big shocks and the critical burns. Or the critical power burns. The special lock on special attacks and the unblockables are both really helpful. He is probably the highest. I think he is the highest prestige in the game right now, which means you will see a lot of rank 4s, Sig 200s of him when he starts coming out in the featured 6 stars. In my opinion, I think maybe not he's overrated, but he's not too difficult to fight once you get used to him, or if you have good counter. Gallon is obviously a great counter for him. Absolutely tears him apart. Hulkling, very good. Hercules, very good. I just think maybe we get to see him really flourish. Big accounts haven't got him yet because he's not in the 6-star featured until sort of January, February. So we can only see him as a 5-star. So he is or if you've got him in the Cavaliers, which not many people have. So he could go up, he could go down, as I said. He's a bit unsure. I've sort of got him in the number 8 spot because I'm not really sure which way he's going to fall. I don't know if he's going to be really, really good or if he's going to fall down and maybe be not as good as some people expected. But he comes in as at the number 8. And then, as I was saying, the number 7 could be swapped with him. Some people absolutely love this champ. Some people, you know, don't rate him as highly. I think he's a great champ. I think the damage he can do if you get those poise on you, the little spider symbols, that can build up your attack massively. He's got some okay synergy partners in Vulture, and the same with Hulkbuster there. I do think maybe, you know, when you fight him as a defender, he's really not a great defender. If you fight him with a Cosmic Champ, that immediately switches off his AI, so it makes him a lot less useful. But on attack, he can take out so many champs. He can. I've seen that he's absolutely carried people through a lot of the quests back in the day. Is somebody who, if you're going, it's why he's so high on this list, is because, as I said in the last video, a lot of it will be done on questing, and he can absolutely smash questing. So he is really, really, really useful with the taunt debuffs as well. I think he's a really, really good champ. He's still 2017, and he's still going pretty strong in the top 7. He's not absolutely reliant on his SIG. He doesn't absolutely need it. But yeah, he's a really good champ. He's holding strong still, and that build-up of poises can be really, really useful. So going into the number 6 spot, and I've gone with Guardian. I think Guardian at SIG 200, you have to have him at SIG 200, I would say, or at least a high SIG. That energy resistance is unheard of. It's the highest, it's one of the best in the game. Makes him almost impenetrable with somebody who only throws energy attacks. Professor X, for example, good counter to him. A Shuri even. I also think the not landing critical hits can be really useful in some nodes. Obviously, crit me with your best shot. He's not great with it, but those nodes which sort of hinder you for throwing critical hits, really, really useful. He's also just a really, really strong defender, but is also, with the taunt debuff that he has, the perfect block, and then the amount of damage he can do on his on offense. Just, he's such a good defender. He's really good for questing, because if you've got a sort of a high 5-star or like a rank 3 5-star, the amount of damage he can take into his block is huge. Survivability is really high, and that will really help you in questing. I do think he's that little bit better than Stark Spidey, just because he's good on offense and defense. I don't really think there's much else to say about him, to be honest. A lot of people know about Guardian. He is, in my opinion, a really good champ. He can also parry those non-contact hits, which is becoming more and more useful with people like Shuri and in Iron Man Infinity War, for example, are 2 good champs that you would need that for. So yeah, really, really good champ, but not much else to say about him. Moving into the number 5, I have gone with a bit of a... I feel like there'll be a little bit of a surprise. I feel like somebody will be thinking there's someone missing. I've gone with Omega Sentinel in my number 5 spot. Just look at the right-hand side here. Look how many abilities she has. She was one of the highest prestige when she came out. There was so much hype with her. I remember when I first got back into the game, Legacy was hyping her up massively, saying he was really looking forward to her. Got her, and I think she's definitely not underwhelming. She's definitely a top 5 tech champ, without a doubt. I just feel like maybe people expected a bit more from her than what she gives. I think, as we know, the cowardice and allowing her to sort of counter prowess is one of a really good mutant killer. Fighting Kitty Pryde or Magneto Bishop she's a really great Bishop counter for Battleground. She's a really good defender, turning those armor ups into auto blocks. She's just, yeah, she's really, really useful. The power drain that she has, the relatively okay synergy she's got with Sentinel, and then 2 great champs in Professor X, and then Nimrod as well. I do think she's maybe a less effective Nimrod. So if you don't have Nimrod, but you need to, you want to counter a Bishop or a Kitty Pryde, she's your champ. But I do feel like maybe, in my personal opinion, I've not played with her too much because she is a new champ, but I've played with a lot more of these champs above her on this list, and I feel like maybe they just kick it a little bit over her. And saying that, we'll go into our number 4. So in number 4, I do actually own him. It is going to be Warlock. I remember the first time when I first got Warlock, and I got him out of the Cyber Weekend Cavalier Crystals, and I knew he was a good champ. I knew he was like top 5 tech, and a lot of people had talked about him, and I saw a few comments on my video when I got him saying like, oh, he'll carry you through stuff, and I thought, I don't really know how he'll do that. He doesn't seem that useful. Or not useful, he just doesn't seem as effective as a Ghost would be, or a Mega Sentinel. However, I took him into one of the quests, I think it was 6.4.5, where they all have healing or regeneration, and obviously with Warlock, when the opponent is infected, their power drains if they're trying to regenerate. And they didn't get us above 2 bars of power the whole fight. Almost every mutant, he takes out mutants really quick. He takes out any champ that regenerates massively. He basically stops their regeneration, which is huge in with a lot of nodes as well. He really counters those nodes with that infected. The power drain on the SP1 is big. The massive power burn on his SP3 is huge. I needed a power control champ for so long, and then I ended up getting him. I love him. I think he's really good. The parry heavy as well, with the amount of bleed that you can do, and that every parry getting a virus infection. I just think he's a really, really good champ. And I think the only reason I've got my next champ above him, which I do think will be a surprise to you guys, is because just the amount of I've used him. I've used the next champ, who we may as well get onto. It is Ultron. Ultron is the number 3 champ. I feel like Vega said it the other day in his ranking, and that was like, if you were gonna take a champ in a fight and you didn't know who you were fighting and you needed to take a champ in, especially tech, who would it be? And it probably, in my opinion, he said it'd probably be Ultron or Ghost or Nimrod. And I agree. I think the fact that with champs who aren't bleed immune, he makes bleed, and his heavy attack stacking like 6 bleeds on them can be massive. The self-repair at 50% health, and then at 25% health, basically letting you regenerate 3/4 of your health. When you're at 50, it gets you to 70, and when you're at 25, it gets you to 40. Like, it's massive. It can help you so much in questing. He was my questing MVP all the way up. He was just so useful in every single fight. The SP3 stunning them, allowing you to throw that heavy attack and power burning them, and then obviously doing some direct damage for that power burn. The immunity to bleeds and poisons. The armor up, making him just an absolute tank. I feel like he's a little bit underrated. Obviously, he's in most people's top 5, top 6, but like Vega's video, I think he had him at 7, and I just feel like after his buff, he's just become even better, and I've got him sigged up, and basically that sig is free regeneration. You fight a Shuri, and she could hit you 10 times, and you just regenerate it all back. The higher the sig, 65% of the damage that you deal. That's massive going into a long quest, or a quest with lots of energy champs, and then not even saying that mutants, like every mutant gets a degeneration instead of bleed, meaning that even if they're immune, somebody like Omega Red who is immune, or Magneto, they still get that degeneration. I just think He's so useful in all quests. He's great on Battlegrounds attack because you can use him against anyone. I think he's a really, really good champ, and that evade has saved me so many times. I feel like Ultron is one of my favourite champs in the game, and I feel like he does deserve a bit more love, but any higher than number third in this list, and I feel like I was being way too biased. So, you know, let me know what you guys think of this sort of rogue choice of number 3, but obviously the top 2 are pretty set in stone. I think at 2, I've gone with Nimrod. I do think Nimrod is so good. I think him and Ghost could be interchangeable. However, Ghosts, we'll get onto Ghosts in a minute. We may as well speak about Nimrod while we're here. The immunities he has to bleed and poison, the cowardice being the best counter for prowess, his power drain, the shocks he puts on his and just the damage he does on his SP2, the special locks every time they get to a bar of power. I think he is the mutant killer. He is the... Oh, I don't even know. There's no one really like him. He's the Human Torch of the tech class. You know, he tears through mutants like it's nothing, and I think he's a really, really good champ. Great synergies, a good sig ability. On defense, the unblockable and unstoppables on his SP2 is just insane. I think he's a really, really good champ. He's amazing on attack. He's amazing on defense. I think he is one of the best champs in the game, in my opinion. And yeah, not much else to say about him. A real, like, as I said in the last video, the 1 and 2 are almost interchangeable. It doesn't, you know, you could have who you want. However, in the number 1 spot, I've obviously gone with Ghost. It's just insane, the sort of stuff she can do for a champ that old. You know, you're getting degenerated, dash back. You're getting poison or bleed, dash back, make them Furies. Just the build-up of Furies, the SP2, the damage that she can cause, the phasing. If you use her correctly, you can take no damage and debuff. She's just so simple yet really effective. Like I was saying in the last video with iBomb, I just think she can be so useful in so many different scenarios. If you have her, like, for Bane, for example, while questing, she's so useful. If you've got her for Biohazard, she's so useful. Like, questing up, she is just an absolute god, and if you have her, you can just quest up so much easier. So she has to be the number 1 in my opinion. I think for questing, for Battlegrounds, she's just really, really handy. And you know, she's not getting old. She's not getting any older. She's not going to lose any effectiveness. Maybe next year she might be down the list, but you never know. Like, with how good she is with the phase and the damage and the Furies, it's just, yeah, it's just obscene, and that's why she's my number 1. As well as her synergies with Kitty and Tigra as well, just almost forgetting about that, making her one of the... Just that little trio, just making Kitty so good, and then being able to bring Ghost and Tigra along with you. Almost the best sort of trinity of champs you can have for synergies. So, yeah, really great champ. That's it for the ranking. Let me know what you think in the comments. How did I do? What would you change around? A nice discussion would be good. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Do subscribe if you're new. I'd really appreciate it. 100 before Christmas or before the new year would be amazing. I really appreciate everyone who's watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Watch yesterday's video, and tomorrow will probably be on skill, I imagine. So tune into that one. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have a good day. Goodbye.